We've all seen satellites in space, whether it's the ISS, Starlink, or even the Hubble telescope. But have you ever wondered, why don't they just fall back down to Earth? Gravity pulls everything down, right? So how are satellites defying it? First, let's bust a myth. Satellites aren't floating in space. They're actually falling. But instead of falling straight down, they're moving so fast that they keep missing the Earth. Think of it like throwing a baseball. If you throw it lightly, it falls straight down. But if you throw it fast enough, like really fast, it keeps curving around the Earth, never hitting the ground. That's exactly what satellites do. Satellites stay in orbit because of a perfect balance between two forces, gravity pulling them down and their speed pushing them forward. The magic number? Around 28,000 kilometers per hour, 17,500 miles per hour, for low Earth orbit. That's 10 times faster than a bullet. If a satellite moves too slow, gravity wins, and it falls back to Earth. If it moves too fast, it escapes into deep space, but at just the right speed, it stays in orbit. Yes, satellites aren't up there forever. Over time, air resistance, even in space, slows them down. Eventually, they lose speed, drop in altitude, and burn up in the atmosphere. This is why older satellites either crash or get sent to a graveyard orbit. Space has its own version of a junkyard, and it's called the graveyard orbit. It's a region of space about 300 kilometers, 186 miles, above geostationary orbit, which itself is already 35,786 kilometers, 22,236 miles, above Earth. When satellites near the end of their life, if they're in geostationary orbit, they get one last boost higher up into this junk orbit, so they don't clutter space or crash into working satellites. Why do they go up instead of down? Because it actually takes less fuel to push a satellite into graveyard orbit than to pull it back into Earth's atmosphere. Wild, right? So while some satellites burn up when they fall, others stay in space forever, drifting in the graveyard orbit like cosmic relics. If you enjoyed this space breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.